You know, what you're witnessing is just like a night at the museum, the third one. And it shows you how much people don't pay attention to the trending things going on in life. They don't pay attention. I've talked about malaria and all these other things. You know, COVID also means Kobe, then Crown. It's just a bunch. You know, if you remember correctly, Kobe was the Black Mamba. He was the King Cobra. Then you got King Kobe, King Cobra. You got all these things that are right there in front of your face. But honestly, I just sat and listened to some of the. And see, I have to choose. I choose the path that's going to create the wealth, the avenue that I need to have a chance on 100% having everything I need to be better. Even if it paints a shitty picture of me, which I really don't care. So, heroes usually die and they end up in the ground. That's what makes them heroes. And I think I'm just going to have to become the most hated person around. But that's only the cover, you know? Everything has happened. You know, we've had two World Trade Center bombings, we've had two Wacos, we've had two Memorial Day tragedy, you know, a bridge collapsing and two barges hitting a dam. And we have all these things. What do we have right now? We still have, people don't understand the timeline of these actual things happening. The timeline's correct. But the carryover from each administration or each Congress, every election, isn't. So what we have here is just another way that covers up another bad negotiation between it's planes, trains, automobiles. It's always going to be about drugs, big pharma, illegal drugs, or and it's stupid. Why? Because during this time, people are always finding loopholes to make money. And they rob you blind. That's why we're so far in debt. But just like right now, you know, when it comes to religion, they're telling you to stay at home and all these religious things are coming up. Church is overstepping the state big time because there's no separation in it. They're using the fear to keep you home, and then they're patenting all their things and they're peddling things, and people are looking for something to believe in instead of looking in the mirror and believing in themselves. You know, I've heard more people sit around talking about waiting for a stimulus check and complain about they can't work because of the virus, and I'm like, you motherfuckers never had a job anyways. The fact that these off the cuff things tell you something. And I'm just going to say it. I'm a dick. I've marked some people on some things, and it mocks their lives right there in front of them. So when you have a president that says that you don't shoot bleach up, you don't do this, you don't do all of this, okay, what is the big epidemic here in Oklahoma? It was methamphetamine, people shooting up drugs, heroin. Well, there you go. Your government's being your media is being patterned off of drug addicts. A lot of these other things too. I mean, it's just based off of certain characters. It was mocked off of my family, and it still is for the most part. But the problem was during this, they didn't realize people that were coming and doing some of this stuff. They thought I was gaining entry into their deal, and I'm like, no, you're on a military vine that is mine. It's been mine, and everybody else has jumped on it, thinks they're doing it. So I'm having to knock people off of it because I'm ended up with a bunch of people playing video games on it, and you know what? It just well, we have a problem here is we have a lot of people that have mercury poisoning. Where do you get mercury poisoning? Well, you can get it from seafood. Okay, you can get it in a lot of ways. But if you're if you're doing any illegal substances or any drug like marijuana, here's the deal: the fact that you watch TV every day and marijuana, and you're smoking marijuana, and every day you're watching Weed Killer. These things need regulation. Why? Because you should be able to watch the gestation period of a plant, watch it grow. You should be able to have quality control to do that it remains pure. But the fact that you guys are wearing medical masks around like you're chopping dope in a dope house or coke and you're butt naked wearing a mask so you don't breathe it in, it just blows my mind. And that's what's going to take. It's going to take something. See, the Constitution's not going to go away. What has to change is a traumatic fucking heart check that stops you and realizes that what you thought was impossible is very 100% factual true, and you guys are facing the wrong way. That'd be like the kite trying to fly you in the air. But you can't talk to anybody. Even when you try to get to know people don't want to hear. They have their mind up. They don't want to talk. So what happens now is I've had to run and do all these other things. Not really run like in fear, but be in the middle of something that simply just getting out of the house is nice. But it puts me around some of the fucking dumbest people in the world. And what happens when you're around in a toxic area? It doesn't matter how far you go. It's still toxic. You can't get out of it. You have to figure out how you're going to get out of it. The fact that people don't have any personal responsibility anymore for their actions, and they think they can stick their hand out and someone's going to give them some money. They're not. You're scared of a virus that could be. Bleach kills 99.9% of all viruses. I mean, it says it on the bottle. Bleach your shit. Bleach your bathroom. You don't want to use rubbing alcohol and shit all the time. And everybody's like, well, why are liquor stores open? Well, you can't fucking take people off of liquor. It'll put them in shock. You can't take these things away from people. It'll kill them. So it's drastically going to taper them off. But as we go through this, I keep talking about stuff that I'm going to show you that's coming up. That a lot of these characters and a lot of music and stuff, they're going to start blending in together, and you're going to realize there are many different characters, but characters based off of one muse. And when's the last time you ever heard something in hip-hop not refer to juice or wrestling or MMA or old school, and it's clear speaking? I'm thinking, it's like, how many times are you going to juice? I mean, you can't get blood out of a tournament. So, I mean, you're sitting there so much. Oh, still got one more drop of juice, and then you got Juice WRLD, a person that died. So at one point in time, are you going to realize we're just a slot machine? The American people are a slot machine. When you look, you got two. California's got oranges, Florida's got oranges, Oklahoma's got peaches, Georgia's got peaches, but guess who's got the big apple? Well, who's got cherries? You don't know. But every day, you see commercials for AIDS, the AIDS pills for AIDS. Here's the deal. Most people won't get AIDS. If you never have a blood transfusion or share a needle with somebody or be gay, your chances of getting AIDS are slim to none. And it goes back to the narrative that people that are shooting themselves up with drugs, diabetics don't even shoot in the brain, they shoot in their stomach. The best thing for the immune system is sunlight. Just being out in the sunlight, sweating, getting all the toxins out, getting, going and being around people socially and changing the dynamic of the atmosphere you're around. I seriously just need to transplant myself somewhere else where sometimes it's not like I need rehab. I just need a ride out. Do I think rehab works? Well, yeah, if you're trying to rehab your leg or your arm. But when you're stuck in the middle of a place and you can't eat, and drugs, there's more drugs or drug like placebo substances around than there are food. Yeah, you're going to lean towards more doing something else. You know, the fact that everything's based off of my family. My family is so fucking stupid that they watch the news and everything. It's right in front of their faces. And that's the thing. If I can't convince my family what I do, there's no way in hell I can convince anybody else. So you know what I got to do is I got to build a fence, and I got to jump it and say fuck this shit. You know, I think the Trumps should not do any more press conferences. Hey, no, here's the deal. We appointed people for these certain positions. They keep giving stats and they keep doing that. Let the responsibility fall on them. They keep wanting to push these narratives. Go ahead and sit back. Let the American Trump does. That's why we have a press secretary. Let the press secretary answer that. We have the rest of the world to worry about. We have a lot of other things to worry about. During this time, you know, you got a whole board of people doing this stuff. We could be sitting down and figuring out what we need to do to stimulate the economy to get it going. But it's just funny. It's like Gas Monkey and all these shows and everything, and Sons of Anarchy podcasts. It's just a fishing expedition, or it's here's the deal. The difference between fishing: you're casting your line out, you got bait on it, and you're trying to pull it in. The difference in lynching is you're chasing something, trying to put it on your rope. It's just how life is. Yeah, we just need to step back, sit down, and work on what we need to do to get the economy going. Because of the state I'm in, there's corruption. There's all kinds of stuff. A lot. They're not doing things whatsoever to help anything. They're remaining quiet and taking care of themselves. And leading your country or leading the people of your state or your county starts on the ground. And the first thing that we needed, before we added any more chemicals, before we added anything, we needed to dry our state out. We needed to dry our people out. Too many people strung out on prescription pills. Now we got marijuana. We got more booze. And we got all of these things. But see, the reason why we have all of these things is just exactly what it is. It's years and years worth of corruption painted as, and this is what's sad, painted as Islamic terrorism. But we live in the Islamic State. Islam. At what point in time does the American people want to know the truth? Will you accept the truth? Can you handle it? Or will you argue it?